Okay, today I'm going to be talking about lithiums. I'm going to be talking about lithiums in general, though. There is multiple different types of lithium batteries. We've got the lithium ions, we've got the lithium polymers, you've got lithium ferrites, and various combinations of those. But I'm just going to be talking about lithiums as a general term. So with lithium batteries, we have got just very typical cells. I mean, you look at these cells; they're just look like larger triple A's or double A's, but they function differently. With standard double A batteries, you can run them completely flat, and they're usually toss away. Or you can get the lithium ions from energizers that are one-use lithium batteries. But with these, you run them down to a certain voltage and you don't go any further than that because you can instantly damage them. Some you can go down to 2.3 volts, some you can only go to 3 volts, and that's the minimum. But the normal voltage of these lithiums are roughly 3.6 or 3.7, and their max is usually about 4.2, 4.3. Some companies will suggest to charge theirs up even higher than that, but that's abnormal. With these batteries, these lithiums, I've ripped these out of cheap battery banks, and looking at the batteries on this one is actually a Samsung. And if you were to take that sheath of these ones, they're actually, that's it. That's unless there's something underneath there to try and that says what it actually is, and this is just a false layer. But I found these ones pretty good and on par with what it's saying. I've looked at the company, the 22F. These are actually 2,200 milliamp hour batteries. I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I looked at the actual specs of these, and these are just pretty much your run-of-the-mill lithium batteries. And the style of these ones, they're called the cylindrical batteries. This one I've taken out of a Wi-Fi, mobile Wi-Fi router, and the shape of this one, this is still a lithium-ion battery, but it's in a shape called a prismatic. So it's pretty much a rectangular shaped battery. Now, how they form these batteries is pretty much they've got a big long sheet of the materials that they need, and they layer the materials together, and then they either roll them up or they fold them over until they get the specified battery. And then they then connect the anode and cathode, and most of the times these have got what's called a temperature sensor in them. The reason why they do that is because of thermal runaway. The biggest problems with lithium is that they do catch on fire, and if you do not have any safety precautions to cut out when that heat gets to that temperature, they get away. That means also the batteries in your mobile phone. If they're not protected properly, or if you're someone who's who puts them underneath your pillows, please don't do that. It's the reason why they catch on fire, because they don't get enough airflow to keep the batteries from overheating too much, and quite often they do cut so close to the limit of their batteries battery's thermal limits, just to try and keep that phone running as long as possible. And putting it under your pillow is just playing a bit like Russian roulette. Yes, most of the times you will get away with it and not have a problem, but there's always going to be that one time, and that's when people have problems. So what I've done with why I've got these out, because these are actually bigger versions with a whole heap of these put into series, whilst this one's both serial and parallel battery units. I've done this because I wanted to put some lithiums in my electric scooter instead of having the good old lead acids. Why? Lithiums are lighter to the amount of power output they produce, and they can take up less space. So it also means that I can have a lot more power to the weight, and a lot more power within the space of the scooter itself. It just means that, instead of getting halfway through the battery's power cycle, I'm struggling. I mean, I'm not a young kid, but the scooter is designed to have someone of my size. But it still does struggle. I'm pretty sure it's about a 100 kilo limit, and I'm roughly about 80 kilos. And 100 kilos is 220 pounds. And so 80 kilos is about 176 pounds. So I am within the limits of it, but it does struggle with about half power usage. And I've been wanting to just boost that so I can just go longer. But the biggest problem with what I've got here is that I've got 6 cells. That's not quite up to the 2 sealed lead acid battery's maximum voltage, which means I will get sluggish earlier, not later. But yeah, and as you can see, these have actually got plugs on them that I've actually put on, and they're called balancing connectors. Without that, what happens with lithiums is that when they're in serial, one actually gets charged up a lot more than the other, and so the voltages between the two cells, they become out of sync. So when you go to use the battery, you at times cause one to run down to a point where you damage the battery, or you cause the other one to go to a voltage that is too high for it, and so you then destroy it that way, or cause it to catch on fire in terms of destruction. And so with the balancing method, you've got these connected to serial where you've got the positive and negative here, but then you've also got another connector where the device, the balance charger, can actually independently sense each battery's power, and then either reduce the power of the whole connector itself, because this one's actually where you get your direct power, high power from, and then it will reduce that, and then slowly trickle charge through these specific batteries that need it. And that's how the balance chargers work with it. But I had fun pulling. I'm reasonably destructive. When I was younger, about 8 years of age, 9 years of age, not quite 9. Let's just say my father got a computer for the first time, a personal computer, and he pretty much turned to me and said, "It is your life if you pull that thing apart." Now, I knew that he wouldn't kill me if I did it, but it was going to be more trouble than what it was worth doing so. So yeah, I do have fun pulling things apart and also doing things like this, making things like this, where people will go, "Oh wow," it's just like, it's just a matter of knowing what you're doing and what things does and what you can and cannot do with them. But yeah, that's my little spiel on lithium batteries. Look after yourself. Yeah, it is your life, so why don't you look after yourself?